America spent years trying to escape China. Tariffs were raised, factories were moved. Politicians called China a threat, and companies were told to manufacture somewhere else. The goal was simple: reduce America's dependence on China before China became too powerful to control. But after all the trade wars, restrictions, and billions of dollars spent, America still can't escape China. And the reason is much bigger than politics. Because China didn't just become another country in the global economy. It became the system the global economy depends on. Look around your room, your phone, your laptop, your TV, your gaming console, your batteries, your medicine, even parts used in military equipment and AI servers. There's a good chance they were made in China, or rely on materials and factories connected to China. For decades, American companies moved manufacturing there for one reason: it was cheaper. But over time, something much bigger happened. China built an industrial machine unlike anything the modern world had ever seen. Massive factories, ultra-fast supply chains, huge shipping ports, millions of workers, entire cities designed around manufacturing. China wasn't just making products anymore. It became the place where products could be made faster, cheaper, and at a scale almost nobody else could match. And America loved it. Consumers got cheaper products, companies made more profit, Wall Street got richer. But eventually, Washington realized something dangerous. The United States had become deeply dependent on its biggest rival. Then came the trade war. Tariffs hit Chinese goods. Politicians promised factories would return to America, and companies started looking for alternatives like India, Vietnam, and Mexico. At first, it looked like the plan was working, but then reality hit. Replacing China turned out to be far harder than expected. Because China's biggest advantage wasn't just cheap labor, it was the entire ecosystem. In China, factories, suppliers, ports, highways, and workers are all connected together with incredible speed. A company can order parts in the morning and receive them the same day. Entire supply chains operate almost like one giant machine. And building that level of infrastructure takes decades. That's the problem other countries face right now. India is growing fast. Vietnam is attracting factories. Mexico is becoming more important, but none of them can fully replace China yet. Not at China's scale, not at China's speed. And many companies that left China still rely on Chinese suppliers behind the scenes anyway. So even when factories move, China often remains part of the system. And now a new battle is making things even more complicated: the AI war. America wants to dominate artificial intelligence. China wants the same thing. But AI doesn't just depend on software. It depends on physical infrastructure, advanced chips, rare earth minerals, batteries, massive manufacturing networks. And China plays a critical role in almost all of them. That's why America keeps restricting Chinese tech companies and chip access. Because this is no longer just about trade. It's about who controls the future. But here's the irony. America sees China as its biggest competitor, while still depending on China to keep large parts of its economy running. And that creates a problem America still hasn't solved. Because leaving China completely could make products more expensive, damage companies, disrupt supply chains, and shock the economy. But staying dependent on China also creates long-term risks. Which means America is stuck in a difficult position. Too dependent to fully leave. Too threatened to fully trust. And that may become one of the biggest economic battles of the future. Because the next global superpower war may not be fought with missiles or tanks, but with factories, chips, supply chains, and economic control. Because in today's world, the country that builds everything may eventually control everything.